I am Dr. Serdar, the protagonist of Metro Awakening. I'm currently in the metro and I have one question for you. If you have PSVR2 and you still haven't bought Metro yet, then what are you doing? That was great, right? Oh, come on, that was brilliant, right?
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about Metro Awakening. Yes, that's right, the day has finally come. The game is out now on PSVR2 and I know this is one of the top 3 most anticipated PSVR2 games of 2024, probably the number 1 most anticipated game for most players, so I know you're eagerly waiting to know whether or not this game will live up to your hype if you choose to buy it. The short answer to that question, ladies and gentlemen, is hell yes. Without a shadow of a doubt, Metro Awakening is hands down the best PSVR2 game I have played this year so far, and I would argue it's the best VR-only game that we got since the launch of this headset. Pay close attention to the wording here. I did not say it's the best PSVR2 game. I said it's the best VR-only PSVR2 game. So keep your expectations in check, alright? It's not better than Resident Evil Village. Although there are certain aspects of Metro Awakening that are 100% better than RE Village, and more on that later. But first, let's talk about the graphics, and to put it simply, Metro Awakening is one of the best looking games on PSVR 2, no doubt. Built on Unreal Engine 5, the game looks glorious from start to finish. Vertigo Games finally used dynamic foveated rendering in this title, and while it's not eye-tracked, I can't really complain when the game looks this good. From the moment you start the game until you finish it, the game looks super polished with sharp visuals, high quality textures, high quality assets and shadows, and really I can go on and on talking about how great this game looks and how there is no aliasing, no shimmering, no graphical issues at all really, except for one thing, which is the infamous Mura. Now I know it's a hardware issue, but in this case specifically it also feels like a software issue. The reason I say this is because I believe Metro Awakening is the game that has the worst Mura effect on PSVR 2. It's not always noticeable, I want to make that clear. When you're using your headlamp, everything is fine. But when you turn it off, that's when the Mura hits you right in the face. Of course, after a while, your eyes will adjust and it won't bother you. But still, this is an issue that needs fixing, and I have already told the developers about this, and they said they're aware of the issue, and they're working on it so it might get fixed with the day 1 patch. But other than that, the game looks almost as good as the Resident Evil games, and you guys know, that's not something we see very often. But you know where Metro Awakening actually surpasses the Resident Evil games and pretty much most PSVR2 games out there, if not all? The gameplay. This is probably the game's strongest point, and that's good news, because obviously, the gameplay is what makes or breaks a VR game. The gameplay mechanics of Metro Awakening and the gameplay loop in general is the best of the best. Putting your mask on whenever you get close to radiation, wiping your mask clean when it becomes foggy, changing the filters before they run out, using your lighter to burn off spider nests, injecting yourself with a syringe to restore health, constantly recharging your headlamp, and of course charging electrical panels to open doors. I know this sounds like a lot, but trust me. All these game mechanics and more work flawlessly to deliver an authentic and super immersive Metro experience, a Metro experience that's impossible to achieve outside of VR. Make no mistake, this is a genuine Metro game. There are no compromises being made here in the gameplay. If you're a Metro fan, then you have to try this. It's literally a dream come true. Weapon variety is good enough for a game like Metro Awakening. During my time with the game, I got my hands on 7 different types of weapons, all of which felt amazing thanks to a good implementation of haptic feedback and adaptive triggers. Headset feedback is well utilized here as well, and generally speaking, the implementation of PSVR2 sensory features is on point. Maybe not on the same level as in Arizona Sunshine, but still very noticeable. My favorite weapon by far has to be the shotgun. This thing slays. No wonder they don't give you the shotgun at the beginning of the game. The level design in Metro Awakening is fantastic, and although some areas are cleverly reused, every area you come across still feels fresh and authentic. Exploration is essential if you don't want to run out of ammo, but other than that, there is no other reason for you to explore every corner you can find. Plus, there are no side quests whatsoever. So if you want to explore a bit, then knock yourself out. Just don't expect to find anything other than ammo, filters, grenades, weapons, or some scattered photos. Now you're not gonna believe me when I say this, but Metro Awakening runs at 120Hz using reprojection, and at the same time it feels like it's running at 90 FPS native with zero reprojection. I know it sounds insane, but really, if I hadn't gotten confirmation straight from the developer regarding the frame rate target of the game, then to this day I would have thought it's running at 90Hz. I don't know what mojo Vertigo Games used here to eliminate reprojection without actually eliminating reprojection, but it's very effective, and it's something I haven't experienced in any prior PSVR2 game. I like the story of Dr. Serdar, the character that you will be playing in Metro Awakening. It's a very personal, very emotional story, and without spoiling much here, you play as a doctor who is searching for his missing wife. The game has 12 chapters total, and I must confess, in terms of story and how the game went in general, I liked the first 6 chapters more. Not that I hated the last 6 chapters or anything like that, I actually did enjoy them a lot, but those were leaning more toward the emotional side. Whereas the first 6 chapters were all about the mystery, the intensity, and quite frankly the horror of being in the metro. Luckily for me, it wasn't a 50-50 split in terms of playtime. You see, the first 6 chapters took me around 6 hours to complete, whereas the last 6 chapters, meaning chapter 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, took me just over 3 hours. So basically, I beat the game in just over 9 hours, so rest assured this is not an Arizona Sunshine situation. Ultimately though, I would say the story here is a W. And although it went in a direction that I wasn't really hoping for when I was playing the first 6 chapters, the end of the game was very satisfying and made me feel like the journey was worth it. The sound design is great, the gunshots, the music, the sound effects, everything sounds creepy and adds to the already existing tension. And if you think you're safe just because things are getting quiet, well, think again. That was literally the worst jump scare that I had in months. And don't worry, I did not spoil it for you, trust me. You won't see it coming. Generally speaking, Metro Awakening will keep you on your toes the entire time. You never know when the next group of mutants will show up. And these guys are fast, like really fast. They won't linger in the same spot for too long, oh no. They will try to surround you. They will come at you from every angle, and the only way for you to be sure that there is no mutant behind you is to apply the same technique you use at home when you're sexting with your mistress, having your back against the wall. There are 2 types of mutants in this game, the skinny fast type that I just told you about, and also the larger thick boys type, which are obviously harder to take down. Both types have glowing eyes, so you will be able to spot them quite easily, even in pitch black darkness. Besides the mutants, you'll also face a few spiders and a lot of humans, and allow me to take a second here to compliment the enemy AI in this game. Now I have already told you about the movement pattern of the mutants, but what's even more impressive is the way the human enemies move and react in Metro Awakening. These guys feel real. I played in the normal difficulty and I still found them to be somewhat challenging. These guys are smart. They detect light, they coordinate with each other, so don't expect them to just shoot at you while standing still behind cover. No, these motherfuckers will always try to flank you, and if they have a clear shot at you, well, you're f***ed. The immersion is real in Metro Awakening. In fact, I would say this is the most immersive game I have played this year. Between the high visual fidelity, the engaging story, the incredible gameplay, the creepy soundtrack, and the smart enemies, I legit felt like I was there, and not like I was playing a game. And whenever I went back to it, I never felt bored or like I wanted to take a break. The only thing that would make me put the controllers down is if they run out of battery, or if my back is killing me. Otherwise, I'm just lost in this wonderful depiction that Vertigo Games has crafted for us. Now that does not mean that the game is perfect, and besides the excessive Mura that I mentioned earlier, there are a few problems and a few nitpicks. First of all, the game has loading screens, and obviously that always sucks in VR. It's also unjustifiable in my opinion, given the fact that the PS5 has an extremely fast SSD. Just like in Arizona Sunshine, if you pull your weapon closer to your eyes, you'll see the interior of the weapon. I should also mention that I once died and the game came back with no audio, so I had to restart the game. Sometimes after you kill an enemy, his weapon might get stuck somewhere and you won't be able to grab it. Same thing can happen to your bolts if you use the crossbow. And finally, I must report that the game crashed on me twice, but my progress was saved, so not a big deal. When it comes to nitpicks, I would have wanted to see at least one boss battle and at least one chapter that takes place on the ground. That would have been a nice change of scenery. One last thing I want to say about the game is that it has a lot of comfort settings. So if you're worried about feeling sick when playing Metro Awakening on PSVR2, I'm here to let you know that you should be fine. And yeah guys, I think I covered everything that you need to know about Metro Awakening on PSVR2. I think I made it very clear that this is a must-buy, must-play title for all of you PSVR2 owners out there. It definitely lives up to the hype. It's one serious contender for PSVR2 Game of the Year. Congratulations to Vertigo Games who finally did it, and congratulations to us PSVR2 fans for having yet another banger on our preferred VR platform. Before closing off this video, I want to share with you 5 tips and tricks I have learned during my time with Metro Awakening. Tip number 1, don't go out guns blazing and always prioritize stealth. This is not Call of Duty, ammunition is scarce here and trust me, you do not want to be around a bunch of spiders with no ammunition. Speaking of spiders, if the game doesn't require you to kill them, just run. These small creatures are incredibly fast and if you try to shoot them, chances are you're gonna waste so much ammo and it won't be worth it. Tip number 2, if you get lost in a certain chapter and you have no idea what to do or where to go, grab your backpack and take a look at the compass. It will point you to the right direction. Tip number 3, after you kill a bunch of humans, don't forget to loot all their ammo. To do this, simply grab each weapon that is laying on the floor, remove the clip or the bullets if it's a shotgun, and store them in your pouch. That way, you'll always be ready for what's coming next. Tip number 4, don't be afraid to use your grenades. There is plenty of those around. Now I'm not saying throw a grenade at anyone that gets in your way, certainly not. But if you ever feel trapped or threatened, or you're running low on bullets, throwing a grenade can be very effective, especially against a group of mutants, and will buy you some time. You also don't have to be super accurate, simply throw it anywhere near them and the dumb f***s will go run into it, out of curiosity. Remember, there are no boss fights, so there is no reason for you to stack up on grenades. And finally, tip number 5, is if you ever want to check what time is it in real life while you're playing, simply take a look at your left wrist. And that's gonna have to do it for this video guys. If you enjoyed it, if you found it informative, and for more PSVR2 news, reviews, and discussions, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and turn on the notifications as well. Thanks a lot for watching, I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, take care.